I'm excited to spend this weekend with you. I've got a few adventures in store, but the main topic of this video is Japanese skincare for mature age skin. And I've been using Japanese skincare actually since I was 18 years old and I first came to Japan. And it was a little bit harder for me to get hold of while I was in Australia, but now with online things are so much easier. But this is my routine of how I look after my skin, and I'm also going out for a little adventure with Millie today once I've put my sunscreen on. So let's dive into the world of Japanese skincare and what actually is really working for my skin. Now, I don't know if you'd know, but in a previous video I mentioned I had rosacea and I have flare-ups every now and then. It really depends on lots of things. One of them is being stressed, and another one is if I have a drink or two on the weekend, I quite often get a flare-up the next day. Now, I also needed to get some toothpaste, so I thought I'd come to the pharmacy and just show you some of the products that are actually working on my skin. So let's start with my skincare routine, and I love these Susai powder cleansers. It's more like an exfoliating product, so you really only need to use this once or twice a week. And as I said, it's a powder, so it comes in a little container with just the right amount of powder, and you add a dab of water to that and foam it up and then wash your face with it. Honestly, it feels like you're polishing your face, and afterwards the feeling is so nice and you feel so glowy. So that's my usual start of the routine. When I'm not looking for such a deep exfoliation, I'll usually use the Milano CC Vitamin C face wash. I don't have much of this left now because I've been using it a lot. And on an everyday go-to is this Hada Labo foaming face wash. And after my face is washed, it's time for hydration. The next stage of my skincare routine is the UFO3 by Ferrero Sweden. This is a deep hydration device, and what I really love about this device is the red light therapy. You can Google it, but believe me, red light therapy helps rosacea by penetrating deep into the skin, targeting the blood vessels that contribute to redness and flushing. The UFO3 comes with a fantastic app which allows you to set it exactly to the face mask that you're using. You don't have to use the app though, you can control the device from the device itself. But I find the app really useful because it just talks you through all of the processes. It's actually really relaxing, and I like this time just as a bit of downtime for myself. The UFO3 can use both cooling cryotherapy and warming thermotherapy plus T-sonic massage, so that along with its light therapy, it's just like having 5 anti-aging spa facials all in one. The UFO3 features a full spectrum of LED lights, each with its own wavelength to target different skin concerns. A big thank you to Ferrero Sweden for sponsoring this video. They also wanted to let you know about their Valentine's Day specials with up to 50% off Ferrero products, and they've given me a special code for all of my subscribers, Japan10, for an extra 10% off. Next up in my process is Hada Labo once again, and they make a really awesome eye cream. It's sort of gel-like. You only need a little bit on your finger and it goes a long way. I lather myself in Curel Intensive Moisturizer. There's a whole lot of products from this range and I haven't actually had a chance to try them all yet, but their moisturizer is perfect for people with sensitive skin like myself or rosacea, and it just adds really deep moisturizer to your skin. For my hair, I always use a Fino hair mask, so you wash that out, and then when I dry my hair it's super shiny and it just stops the frizz. Now on weekends I don't wear makeup, but I wear this Anessa tinted sunscreen. It comes in 3 colors I believe, and amazingly the middle one fits my color profile perfectly, and it's just like wearing makeup but it's not really thick, so it's nice and thin and it does a great job. During the week I use Skin Aqua, and I have been using this tone up one which is a pinky blue color, but I just discovered, which I didn't know, they had one in mint green, and it also helps to tone down your red, which is perfect if you have rosacea, because I still want to wear sunscreen and having a bit of a tint really helps. So Yes, you can see I'm onto my new pack of sunscreen now, and I tell you what, I don't go sparingly with the sunscreen, and I think that's a huge tip that I heard from someone years ago, that if you want to keep your skin looking young, you really need to apply a lot of sunscreen every single day, even if it's a cloudy winter day. I don't like thick foundation, so I just use this L'Oreal True Color Serum Foundation. It's really light. And I have found that the Gracie foundation is probably a close match to my skin. This is sort of a base coat. It is definitely a bit lighter than my skin tone, but it's the only one in Japan that I can find that actually sort of matches near my color. But if I put too much of this on, I look a bit ghostly. So I always use my L'Oreal liquid foundation on top. Now this is a very light coverage, so you definitely still see a lot of the imperfections of my skin coming through, but I do prefer this to wearing heavy cakey sort of makeup. It's more of a natural look, and my skin is feeling really lovely because I just did that face mask. On a really bad day, I use this Shiseido Spots cover, and I do think this is the darkest color that it comes in, and I just dab it on areas where I'm having really bad rosacea flare-ups. For my mascara, I use this Muji mascara, and for my lipstick, well, I don't use lipstick, this is just a lip balm, so it's more of a moisturizing tinted lip balm, and this is from Can Make, and I have a few of these. And that is basically the end of how I do my face. I don't worry about eyeshadow or anything like that. Now onto my body, and U-Skin has been an absolute lifesaver in winter because I've been getting really dry skin on my legs, ankles, around my wrists, on my elbows. So each morning Millie and I might sit down in the sun as the sun comes pouring into my lounge room, and I just massage this medicated moisturizer into areas of my skin that are really dry. And guys, that's about it for my skincare routine. It's really not that fancy, but it's what's working for me. Another important thing is from the outside to the inside, and collagen. And I do think that if you are of a certain age, you should be making sure you're getting enough collagen. And this is good for your skin and your hair and your nails and your bones. So this collagen was sent to me by a lovely Australian company, and I've been using it for a whole year now, and I definitely think it's helping with my skin and my hair. And I mix that with my greens and my juice, and that's sort of like my morning shake, just to make sure I'm getting all the nutrients I need for the day. So that's it for my pretty low maintenance skincare routine. Now it's coming up lunchtime, and Millie and I really need to get out of the house, so I'm grabbing her a couple of treats. I'm going to bundle her up, put her in the car, and we're gonna have a drive somewhere in Wakayama. I don't know where yet. I'm gonna look on Google Maps and head up to a mountain somewhere and just see what I can find. Millie is also a pretty low maintenance cat. I did put in her litter tray, but she's not going to use it, I know. But just in case we get stuck somewhere, I'm going to throw it in there just in case. Now I'm going to grab myself some lunch from Lawson. I haven't done the weekend shopping yet, so the cupboards are literally bare. So I'm going to grab something that I can eat on the go. As I mentioned before, it's so cold this weekend. It's actually -2 degrees at the moment. I'm going to grab myself a hot coffee. None of the food here was hot food, so I'm just grabbing a rice ball, a healthy rice ball, and some egg and tuna sandwiches, and that should be able to keep me going. Now before you freak out and write in the comments, Millie is not restrained in the car. There is no legal requirement to restrain your cats in your car when you're driving in Japan. This might have something to do with the slow speeds we drive, mostly 30 on built up areas and 50 on other areas. So I'm just crossing the bridge. This is the Kinokawa River, and it runs right through the guts of Wakayama, with one side being the city side and the other side being sort of, I guess I call it the Osaka side. I've arrived at a really interesting spot by a river, and this looks like a great place to have a day camp. Literally just 20 minutes out of town, and I'm in the middle of nature. There's not a soul around, and I just thought to myself, I'm so glad I got out of the house today and took this little drive, because otherwise I'd be sitting inside all day. Yes, life is journey, just like my car says. You've got to get out there and you've got to take that journey and get yourself outside doing stuff. So it was a good reminder to myself to really get out and enjoy the world. And as much as I could have easily just sat on the couch today, I'm glad I forced myself into this. And Millie, I think she's going to have a good time as well. There are lots of birds around and lots of things for her to look at as well. So this is what my lunch looks like. It's pretty good. It's edamame and a few other bits and pieces. It's a little bit sweet and a little bit salty, so it's quite a yummy treat. I did manage to position the car so that the back door looks straight out onto the waterfall and the river that runs past, so it's hard to show it in the footage, but it was a really pretty view from here. And I'm going to reward Millie for being such a good girl, and then we can relax and just spend a few hours sitting here. We're both going to have full tummies, and it's quite warm inside the van even though it was cold outside. Our body heat has warmed up the van, and I did bring a blanket along with me as well.
Picked up from Kmart for Freddy's food.
It was a really nice couple of hours just hanging out in the van with Millie, and I sort of wish that I was able to stay the night, but it's probably just going to be too cold now with the temperature dropping late in the evening. So we're going to head home and go and do a bit of grocery shopping and cook some dinner. But on the way home, I was coming around the corner from this hill and I thought I saw a dinosaur, and when I got closer I was like, wait, it is a dinosaur. And what do you know, it's a park with actual life-size dinosaurs. It's called Ajisai Koen. Ajisai is hydrangea in Japanese. So I'm guessing that this park is going to look pretty spectacular when the hydrangeas are blooming. But now in the winter at 2 degrees, it just looks a bit gloomy, but also a bit scary because, yeah, these dinosaurs are all life-size. So I just ran around the park being silly because I left my jacket in the car and it was actually so cold. So I did a couple of laps running around just to warm myself up and back home. So yep, back across the bridge, down along the river and back to my house. And as I was driving, I was trying to think, what on earth am I going to make for dinner? I really wasn't getting inspiration from anywhere, probably because I had rice for lunch, so I wasn't feeling that hungry. So I decided to use the eggs that were in my fridge and just grab some of the old veggies that I had lying around. I didn't have many, but it came to me suddenly, I could just make a potato omelette, like a Spanish omelette. So that's what I'm going to do, just use whatever I've got in the fridge and try and throw something together. I did actually have this frozen spinach as well, so that's going to add my greens because I just didn't have any greens other than these shallots which I have in my garden. I always go for eggs when I don't feel motivated to cook, and I feel like if you've got a hot chili sauce to go with it, they always end up tasting good. What's your go-to dish when you don't feel like cooking? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So today I've talked a little bit about Japanese skincare for mature age skin, and I put a few links in the description if you want to have a look at some of the products that I mentioned today. But thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end of the video, and I really look forward to seeing you again next week. See you then. Bye.